Music family. What it do, y'all? We're gonna have a really dope episode today. We're gonna dive right in. So you know it's your boy Jordan Dwayne checking in. I ain't even gonna tell y'all all what I do, but y'all know I do music. It's my channel. This is what I do. This is what I do is I love help people progress in their music career. So today's video is independent artists, or even if you're in a major label, but you don't like your label, so you're trying to figure out how to set up your tour, this is how you do it. We're gonna dive right into it. So when you setting up your tour, the most important thing is, and you know, once again, I got my phone with me. I'm not texting, I'm going down my checklist so y'all know what's going on. But y'all like and subscribe because I'm gonna be dropping a lot of videos and a lot of different information. Everything that got to do with independent artists is thriving and succeeding and making money and doing music and things like that. That's what we're here to do. So back into what we're doing once again, we're talking about this tour life, baby. So you know, I go on tour almost every year. I've been on tour every year since 2014. I'm an independent artist, and it's like, I'm gonna tell you the truth, bro. Going on tour is one of the most rewarding things you can ever do as a career, as in your career as a musician. And it's one of those things that you put in the work, and what you put in comes back tenfold. So thinking about it like that, we're gonna dive right into the list. And the first thing you want to do, you know, when you're working on your tour, setting up your tour, is of course write out your goals and what you want to do budget wise. So write out your goals and write out your budget. And diving into that a little bit, what I mean by that is you want to decide, first of all, when you're doing what you're doing, there's different types of tours. You can do music tours, you can do promo tours. When I say music tours, that means you're performing where you're going. When you go to that city, you have a stop set up where you got people, you know, buying tickets or whatever you're doing to perform, and people are coming to watch you perform. Or you can do a promo tour where it's like you're going to different cities and you're just passing out merch, passing out, you know, CDs, this, that, building a fan base. That all constitutes as a tour. And when you're doing this correctly, what you're doing all in the while is gaining more fans. So it's important to decide, you know, when you're budgeting and how much you want to spend and how much you think you have to spend, because touring costs a lot of money, dude. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's really one of them things, like, you have to really be meticulous about how you spend when you're on the road. You have to budget, you have to pre-plan your budgeting, and you have to stick to your budget. And that's really the hardest thing to do when you're out having fun. And we're gonna get into a lot of that a little bit later. But when you're on the road with your homies and y'all are having fun, you know, you're done working for the night, y'all may want to go out and party. You got to keep in mind, you know, you're really there to work. You know, partying on tour is always fun, but it's like, it's a grind. You there to work. Tour is work, you know, from the outside looking in. People think tour is just party, play music, but it's really a lot of work. And especially as an independent artist, when you're doing it yourself, bro, it's all about the planning and the budgeting. So going into that, what I was kind of tapping a little bit before is talking about your team. When you're going on a tour as an independent artist, is building your team, bro. And even if you don't have so much as a solidified whole team for your whole music career, building a team for your tour is really helpful, because what you're gonna need is you're gonna need somebody. Obviously, you're gonna need a driver. You're gonna need somebody to help you do a lot of your social media content, whether that's your camera guy. If you have your camera guy and your guy who does your video editing, you know, you want your people there shooting your content, because if you're on tour and you're doing music, you gotta have a content person there. You can't be performing and holding the camera and, you know, getting the behind the scenes of y'all on the road and these awesome pictures and stuff like that. Like, you gotta have a camera person. So, you know, if you wanna have a road manager, the person who's calling the venues, calling these hotels, making sure everything's good, things like that. You know, you want to have a couple people with you on this tour, depending on what your budget allows, to help you build, you know, the dream tour the way you want it. And with that, it's like I said, you can have a few people, you can have 1-2 people, you can have a big tour depending on the budget, depending on how big, you know, if you have like a big production on your stage set, you know, if you doing lights and lasers, you have somebody who just running that, you know, they're coming with you. And you have to keep in mind as well. I try to say like 2-3 things at the same time. You want to keep in mind as well, you have to compensate these people. You know, they're away from their families, they're away from what they're doing that makes them money. So keep in mind with your team, everybody that comes with you, in one way or another, whether you tell them, look, you know, you don't have to pay for anything on the tour. I'm paying for the hotel. I'm paying for the road trip. I'm paying for the gas. I'm paying for the food, for everything. You have to compensate that, and you have to put that in your budget as well. So figuring out how you're going to pay your team, who, you know, you can leverage, you know, to do different things for different prices, that all goes into your budget again. So building your team is really important. After you figure that out, this is when you really get into the bulk of, okay, now we got everything, we got the team, we know how we're gonna do it, we know the budget. Now it's gonna dive into, now you're gonna go figure out what cities you're gonna go to and what you're gonna do. You're there as in performing wise, you know, if you're gonna go out to a certain place and tell everybody to meet you here, we're doing a meet and greet. But now you're gonna find these cities, contact these venue owners, the people that own the club or the bar, wherever you wanna perform at, let them know, like, hey, do you have an open mic night this night? Or hey, how much would it be for us to rent out this place? Can we sell tickets? Do we get the bar, stuff like that? So you're negotiating with these places now in these cities or wherever you want to go to, where your fans are. And that's a whole different kind of video, talking about, you know, finding your fans and stuff like that. We're going to talk about that way later, but for a different video, because that's a whole video in itself. But knowing where your fans are and knowing what cities to go to is really important, obviously, because if you know, I live in Houston, but it's like I know when I go to New York, when I go to Florida, when I go to Los Angeles, we can bring a hub of people together because that's where a lot of my fans are. So it's like you want to know wherever you're booking, where you're going, you have enough people there to support, and at least what your goal with tour is, especially when you're upcoming, bro. You never really focus on making profit with the tour because you're probably not going to profit realistically. You're probably going to, at least the goal is to somewhat even try to break even, easily try to break even. It's really hard, but the goal is to try to somewhat break even when you're on a tour. So saying that, again, it's one of those things, like I said, if you're in Austin, you have a big fan base in Texas, and then, in Louisiana, you make those stops, you make those calls to those venues owners and let them know, like, hey, I want to perform this night. And, you want to set up your tour, like, months ahead of when you actually do it. So you want to try to do this like 4 or 5 months. So you have time to promote, set everything up, set all your context up. And we'll go through that a little bit later in the video, but you want to set it up far enough ahead of time as well that you have time to set up everything, get everything organized, make sure, you figure out if you're driving or if you're flying to these locations, if you're doing rental cars, if your team's going with you. And yeah, that's kind of my next part, like connecting with the venues, but organizing everything. And like I said, if you don't have a road manager, and sometimes a lot of the times I don't, I bring the homies with me. We the street team. I bring my cameraman. I'm the one calling all the hotels. I got the homie drive, and we rotate, and we all doing each other's jobs. So it's like, it depends on how you budget and what you want to do for your tour to make it work for you. But just keep in mind, like, a lot of what you're doing is staying 3 steps ahead of everything that's going on. You want to have everything organized. You want to have everything written down. With that, like I said, yeah, my next big point is, after, of course, you set everything up, and then it goes into your marketing and promotion. So knowing, if you set up your tour for 4 months ahead, that's always your goal, is to set up your tour for 4 to 6 months ahead. So you have tons of time to run ads, to possibly go out there before, network, do a lot of hand-to-hand promotion, message a lot of people on the internet, get to meeting and running all your different campaigns and stuff like that to the areas that you want to go to. So with that being said, like I said, it's all a big web of different things you kind of got to plot on a piece of paper. And come back and watch this video, run it back if it helps y'all. Like and subscribe and comment if y'all need me to go in a little bit more detail on this video. I'll do a whole nother video kind of going deeper. I know I'm talking fast, but I want to just make sure y'all get the big points of building your team, contacting these venues, organizing everything, putting it in the web, organizing it all, writing it all down, and then it really becomes really simple, because then it's all the fun part. You setting up your show list, setting up your show set, because a lot of the venues when you go to, they already have the speaker stuff. So unless you're, and if you're in a band, you with your bandmates, y'all figure all that out, where you're playing, how you're gonna play, set up speakers and everything. But usually when it's just somebody who's doing like a hip hop act or R&B, you have your backtrack. If you have your DJ with you, that's even better. Somebody that can have their host set up, maybe they have their speaker set up. But talk to the venue owners, see what speaker systems they have, and how that works for you. Because like I said, if you're a person who puts on a big production, with like lights and lasers, and that's how you want your shows, you got to make sure, if you're going to bring that, who's going to run it, you got to make sure everything's up to maintenance, and that all goes, it all fits in what y'all are doing. So if you're flying, you got to take into account, if you're flying from here to here, if y'all got to get a rental car, who's moving all of this stuff, who's holding all this stuff for y'all in between, like all that comes into account. When you do your first tour, no matter how you do it, like no matter how much you plan, you'll realize it's like 2-3 things that you didn't plan right. And then the next time it's a little bit better, it's a little bit better. I'm literally, like I said, I'm on my 10th, 9th year touring. And every year I still learn a lot of new stuff. It's like, man, last year we learned something. We like 3-4 things, new things that were like this year when we go on this tour, we started touring about 2 weeks. Y'all come see your boy Jordan Dwayne live. We going here to there, here to there, here to there. But anyways, no, you're not talking about me. But you always learn things on tour. So for the next one, it always makes it a little bit better, a little bit smoother. And it's one of those things, like I said, touring is so rewarding. You have your merchandise, you have the things that you can sell at your merch table. You make all that money back from being on the road. When you're on stage, you tell everybody, go to the merch booth, support us, buy merch. When you're in a big, if you're doing like an open mic night, if you're doing like a festival and there's a lot of other people there, it really works dope, because people always share the loves. They're shopping different venues, shopping different like booths and stuff like that. So keep in mind, talk to whoever that owns the venue to make sure that you can sell merch, can sell whatever you want to sell at your little booth table. And that's always a quick way to make a lot of money back. It's definitely very important to have merch. And then also another big thing to do when you go into a, remember, and this is a really big game changer for me too, and I'm getting a lot better at doing it now, and I'm implementing the strategies that I've got from doing this, is make sure everybody who buys merch, anybody who you really locking with as a fan, get their email, get their contact. So when you make new merch, when you make new songs, when you're going on these tours again, you directly email them. Don't rely on Instagrams because all the algorithms are weird now. You know, not everybody sees everything. So it's very important to have your supporters' information. Email, the phone, text, subscribe thing, whole deal. But just make sure you're locking in everybody's information when you're on tour, because that in the long run, when you come back, they may not come see you next time, but they may come see you the next time and bring 2-3 of their friends. So it's all about playing the long game when you're doing tour. Like I said, tour can be very expensive, and you got to be very careful when you're budgeting and dealing with who you're going to bring with you, because that's all money that has to be spent. And then you have to account for things like gas if you're going to be on the car, be on the road. So write it all down, budget it, take your time doing it, and give yourself enough time to where you can work everything out. You can pay things out with credit cards, however you do it, however you get your finances to fund everything. So keeping that in mind, watch this again if you need to. Like, comment, and subscribe. If I can help with anything, y'all DM me, hit me on Instagram. I'm not bougie. I hit everybody back. It may take me a couple days. My DMs are crazy, but email me, hit me anywhere. Y'all know I respond to comments, but anywhere I can help with, anything I can help with, please get at me. It's your boy Jordan Dwayne. We're going on tour again, baby. I hope this helped you set your tour up. Message me in a few months when you're successful on the road, doing it big. Don't watch all the videos that helped you blow up as an independent artist. I love you. Let's get it, baby. We all the way up. Let's go.